Hey guys, welcome back here to Intuitive Angling, and much appreciated you guys hanging with me a little bit and checking out the video. And if you've been watching the channel over the last couple months, you know I've been talking a little bit about the polygraph. Bassmaster, the Bassmaster Elite Series, the Bassmaster Opens have had an absolute rash explosion of polygraph, disqualifications or, just weird stuff around polygraph tests. It's just been polygraph happy. And I've been pretty critical about the polygraph, and something just happened with David Mullins, who's a Bassmaster Elite Series pro, again with a polygraph. And I got to tell you this story, guys, because this is sort of reaffirms what I've been talking about. Tournament organizations need to completely reevaluate this, so we're going to get into that in today's episode here. Also, guys, before we get started, a couple quick housekeeping tips. Appreciate you guys listening. Anybody interested in booking an on-the-water lesson with me, just go to my Facebook page, Intuitive Angling with Randy Blaukat. I do most of my lessons here in Missouri on Table Rock and Stockton Lake, and we cover any technique you guys want to get better at or learn more about. Look forward to hearing from you on that. And also, guys, thank you very much. Big thank you for me and my family, for everybody that's been getting your tackle and your fishing gear through my tackle warehouse link. I hear guys talking about, hey, Randy, I ordered a rod and reel from your link. Guys, much appreciated. Anytime you use that link that I put in every video description, the channel gets a small percentage of a commission on anything you buy. So that really helps keep the channel on YouTube. And thank you very much for everybody that's doing that. Appreciate it. Okay, let me tell you the story about this. Let me preface a little bit. The Bassmaster Elite Series have been going through this rash of polygraphs over the past, really 2 or 3 years. People getting disqualified, people failing polygraphs, just a big hoo-ha behind it. So anyway, at the last tournament Bassmaster had, the Bassmaster Elite Series tournament, David Mullins, very well-known, very successful Elite Series pro, he got a random polygraph test. They give a random polygraph test at the event, just pull somebody out, which is a terrible idea. I'll explain why. And they asked David 2 different questions. They asked him, if he used forward-facing sonar in the tournament, and then they asked him if he had received any information prior to the cutoff. And I guess they gave him 3 tests, and I guess he passed the first 2 okay, and then on the 3rd test, it was labeled inconclusive, which means you didn't pass it. So he failed the polygraph test, basically. And he was making a statement that's like he didn't even have his live scope on. He didn't get information. He's telling the truth. And Bassmaster concluded he failed the test. He went out and hired his own, independent polygraph examiner. Very credible. I think this guy had been doing it for the FBI forever, but a very credible polygraph examiner. And he passed the polygraph test with flying colors. And Bassmaster came out with a statement that they've completely exonerated David Mullins from any issues surrounding the polygraph test as a result of this. Guys, this is a prime example of why the polygraph is a bunch of bullshit. And it always has been, and it needs to go. The polygraph test has done more damage in the sport to anglers and the tournaments in general as anything. It is not reliable. Byron Velvet did a little Facebook post on this yesterday saying the same thing. Polygraph tests, one of the reasons they're inadmissible in court is they are unreliable. People that are telling the truth can fail them. People that are lying can pass them. And the problem that you have, and this is what Bassmaster and MLF and any tournament organization that has a polygraph needs to understand, is when you give somebody a polygraph and it is unreliable. People, like I said, with what happened to David Mullins happens all the time. When you give somebody a polygraph test and it comes back inconclusive or they fail that test, there is a stigma attached to that angler the rest of their career. They can lose their complete credibility over it. They can lose sponsors over it. It's a freaking nightmare. If I was David Mullins, Bassmaster to me should be liable to some extent for this, or the polygraph examiner for putting him through that, and anyone else. We've seen Bassmaster Elite Series Trey McKinney polygraphed. We've seen a bunch of other Elite Series guys polygraphed. And the thing about this is that, and Matt Herron, Scott Martin, we've seen it over and over again. So all this stuff that's happened to David Mullins, where he failed the polygraph test and came back and passed it, I can assure you guys, so many of the people that have been polygraphed and did not pass that polygraph were completely, it was the same thing with them. They just, for whatever reason, they may have been on medication, they may have been overly anxious. There's a lot of false positives at a polygraph test. They teach guys in special forces, some of my buddies that have been special forces, how to pass a polygraph test all the time. Bassmaster and all the tournament organizations have got to get rid of this, and you've got to set a higher standard, and there's got to be a higher bar before somebody gets qualified because of the damage it does to somebody's career. So in my opinion, they need to completely get rid of the polygraph. It shouldn't even be a factor in any bass tournament. And if you're going to disqualify somebody and you're going to challenge their integrity or their honesty and potentially jeopardize your whole career, you need to have more evidence than that. You have got to have some people that have, either get together and they say, yes, this guy cheated. Here's the evidence we have behind it. This is what we saw. Almost sort of like have some type of a trial, as a result of factual evidence, not using the polygraph test. And like I said, I had to take a polygraph test in an FLW one time. I got a random polygraph test, and it is stressful because they get in there, and I've talked about this before. When I got a polygraph test at Lake Gunnersville, I made the top 10 in the tournament, and they give a random polygraph test to anybody in the top 10, and my name got picked out. So they get you in there, and they strap you up. They got these little stickers that go on your chest. They got like a belt that goes around your belly. They got probes on you. They got stuff on your fingers. And I don't care. And like I said, I had nothing to hide. I didn't break any rules, and I passed it just fine. But it's stressful. You have anxiety. It's just a natural thing that people have with it, and therefore it gets false positives. And some people that have some type of psychopathic edge to them, they may be cheaters and they pass it with flying colors. But this David Mullins incident is a prime example that Bassmaster and MLF have got to get rid of that stupid polygraph test. It is just, I have never seen so many dang polygraphs in my entire life, and people having problems with them as we have the last 2 or 3 years. And guys, I can tell you right now, when you reach the top level, there's not any cheating going on. It's like, what do these guys think they're going to accomplish by that? It's like, does somebody think that do you think that if you're on the Bass Pro Tour or whatever level, Bassmaster Elite Series tournament, do you think you're really going to do something to jeopardize somebody's career by trying to get something over on the tournament organizations? I'm not saying that it couldn't happen, but the odds against that are just minuscule. And the odds of somebody's career getting permanently damaged by that is like off the chart. So anyway, that's just sort of my 2 cents on that. I'm not condoning or encouraging or trying to get people to slide with breaking rules. That's not the thing. But the polygraph is not the answer to it. We have got to have a higher standard of burden of proof before we start accusing these people of cheating in tournaments. So anyway, let me know what you think about it. We'll talk later.